In the last lecture, we learned what is a database and how to create and work with a database in MongoDB. In MongoDB database, we create collections for storing different types of data like the data related to hotels, bookings, users, etc. And if you are creating an e-commerce application, let's say, then you will create collections for storing product related data, orders, reviews, etc. So the related data is stored in a collection using a JSON-like object and we call it as document. For example, the user collection will store each user data using a document. Each document represents a single user in the user collection. So before we proceed further and learn about other concepts of MongoDB, in this lecture, let's try to understand what a document actually is because understanding document is important, especially if you are coming from a relational database background. So what is a document? So we have learned that MongoDB is a NoSQL database that stores data in a flexible JSON-like format called documents. Documents are the fundamental unit of data in MongoDB, and it is analogous to rows in relational databases, but it is far more flexible and expressive than tables. A document is a data structure composed of field value pairs similar to a JSON object, and it stores data in BSON format internally, which allows for faster processing. And also, when we store data in BSON format, we have additional data types which is not supported by JSON data format. So you can say that BSON is a superset of JSON data format. BSON has more data types than what is supported in JSON data format. So again, in simple words, we can say that a document is a JSON-like object which stores data as a key value pair. Now, let's talk about some key features of a document. As I mentioned before, a document stores data for a given entity in key value pair. Key represents the field name and the value is the value for that field. So for example, let's say this is a document. So a document always starts with a curly brace and it ends with a curly brace. And inside that, we specify the data related to a given entity using key value pairs. Let's say this document here, it represents a student. So for that student, first of all, we will have a unique identifier. We are calling it as underscore ID. And then we will have student name, student email, the age of the student, the address of the student, and what skills he has. So you see, these field represents the data related to a student and each field is assigned with a value. So for example, the name of the student is John Doe. The email for the student is johndoe@example.com. The age of the student is 30 and this student has these three skills. So in this way, using a document, we represent the details, the information about an entity. And for that, in the document, we use key value pairs. Key is basically the field which stores a data and the value comes after this colon. So the value is the actual value for that key. Then MongoDB documents are schemaless. That means two documents in the same collection can have different fields and different number of fields. So let's say we have two documents. So we have these two documents. Each of these two documents represents a student. So both of these documents are, let's say, present in the students collection. Now, if you see in the first document, in the first student document, I have this age field. But in the second student document, I do not have the age field. And in the second document, I have the gender field. But in the first document, I do not have the gender field. So when working with MongoDB, when we create documents inside a collection, the collection is schemaless. We don't have to predefine the fields which we want in the documents of a collection. And this is what we mean by schemaless. Okay, two documents in the same collection can have different fields and different number of fields. Then, when we create a document in a collection, always remember that it adds an extra underscore ID field to that document. And we saw that in our previous lecture. So for example, let's say again I'm creating a student document. But while creating this student document, I'm explicitly specifying this underscore ID field. So this underscore ID field is always going to be there for a document. And this underscore ID field should store a unique value. Now, while creating the document, we can explicitly specify the value for this underscore ID field. But if we don't specify this underscore ID field explicitly, then MongoDB is going to create an underscore ID field for our document. So when I'm creating this first student document, let's say there I have explicitly specified this underscore ID field with this value. So if this value is unique in that collection, then this document will be created in the student collection. And here we are manually inserting the underscore ID field. But if I don't specify the underscore ID field while inserting a document, in that case, MongoDB is going to create this underscore ID field and it is going to assign it with a unique object ID. And this underscore ID field is used to identify a document in a collection uniquely. Okay, so remember that this underscore ID field, which gets created for a document, it can be created if you explicitly specify it while creating the document, and if you don't specify it, MongoDB is going to create it for you. But the important point here is this underscore ID field should always have a unique value. No two documents in the same collection can have same underscore ID value. If you try to insert a document with an underscore ID value which already exists for other document in the same collection, it will throw an error. Next, as I mentioned before, MongoDB stores data in a document in BSON format. So this BSON format looks like JSON format, but it is basically binary JSON and it supports wide range of data types. When we work with JSON data has the data types which we have in JavaScript. So for example, in JSON format, you have number type, you have string type, you have Boolean type. And then in a JSON object, you can assign a field with an array or an object. But when we work with BSON data, apart from these five, we have more data types. So string, number, Boolean, this is common from JavaScript, from JSON. Then in BSON, we can also store date data. We can store it as ISO date. Then we have array. So that also you will find in JSON data format. And this is also present in BSON data format. And then we have embedded document. This embedded document is similar to nested objects in JSON. Then we have binary data. So we can also store binary data in BSON format, but that is not possible in JSON. Then we have a special data type called object ID, which is a 12-byte unique identifier. So as I mentioned before, whenever we create a new document in a collection in MongoDB, it creates an underscore ID field and it assigns it with an object ID. So this object ID is also a data type which stores a unique value. Then BSON also supports null value. So this is also supported in JSON. And then in BSON, you also have regular expressions. Now, these are few data types supported by BSON. We also have other data types which I have not listed here. And also in JSON, we only have one data type for number. But in BSON, we have multiple data types for number. We have int 32, int 64, decimal, and double. Okay, so BSON supports wide range of data type. And a document in a collection stores data in the BSON format. Here is a simple example where I have a document which has fields assigned with different types of value. So here this underscore ID field, it is assigned with an object ID. This name is assigned with a string value. Age is assigned with a number value. Is student property is student field. It is assigned with a Boolean value. This registration date, it is storing an ISO date value. This skills field, it is storing an array. And this address field, it is storing an embedded document. So remember that a document starts with curly braces and it ends with a curly braces. And inside that document, we can also have nested or embedded document. So this property, this address property, it is storing a nested document. because it also starts with a curly brace and ends with a curly brace, and inside that also we have some fields assigned with some value. So this is a nested document, or you can also call it as embedded document because it is embedded in this outer document. Then we have this profile picture pic, which is storing a binary data. We have this middle name, which is assigned with null, and we have this email regex field, which is storing a regular expression. So in this way, we have lot of data types in BSON data format. Now, let's try to understand the difference between a document in a collection in MongoDB and a table row in a relational database. As I mentioned before, a document is similar to a table row in relational database. But the difference is documents are flexible, they are schemaless. But in a relational database, when we create a table, we have a predefined schema. Every row in that table should have the same number of columns. Then document supports nested objects. So in document, you can embed related data. But in a relational database, when we want to fetch data from two related tables, there we need to join the tables. Then in a document, this underscore ID field, it is the unique identifier for a document. But in case of table rows, we have primary keys. And in a document, the data is represented in a JSON-like format called as BSON. But in a table row, the data is represented using rows and columns. Now, what is the advantage of using a document? First of all, when we use a document is flexible, it is schemaless. So just like I mentioned before, in the same collection, two documents can have different number of fields and different types of fields. And this provides flexibility to add or remove fields in a document based on the requirement. Then when we use documents in a collection, we can store the related data in the same document, and that we can achieve with the help of embedded documents. And when we do that, if we want to fetch related data for a given entity, we do not have to query multiple collections. We can get the related data from the same collection in the same document. Then MongoDB also provides powerful query operators to work with document structures, and this we are going to see in our coming lectures. And since we are using JSON-like syntax for storing data in a document, if the developers are familiar with JSON or JavaScript, then it is easier for developers to use the data from the document in their code. Now, when working with the documents, we also have some limitations. So for example, a single document cannot exceed 16 MB in size. The maximum size allowed for a document is 16 MB. Also, since the documents in a collection are schema-less, it can lead to inconsistent data if not carefully managed. So for example, I have a students collection, and in that students collection, I want to insert a student document. So in that student document, if it contains student related data, that will be inserted. But let's say instead of student related data, it contains products related data. So that will also get inserted easily, because by default MongoDB is not going to check what data is coming in that collection. So a product document can also be saved in a student collection, and this is because of the schemaless nature of the document. Now remember that if we want, we can enforce schema on a document in a collection, and that also we are going to learn in this course. Also, when you are using embedded document, you need to remember that you have maximum of 100 level of nested documents. You cannot nest documents beyond 100 level. So for example, let's say I have a user document inside which I have an embedded document which stores the address of the user. And in that address document, I have another embedded document which stores the primary contact of the user. And in that embedded primary contact document, I have another level of nested document. So you can go like this till 100 levels. After that, you cannot have more level of nesting. So this is another limitation. So with this, now I hope you have a clear picture of what a document is and how it stores data in the collection. A document stores data in a JSON-like format called as BSON, which supports more data type than JSON. And BSON stands for binary JSON. When storing the BSON data in the MongoDB collection, first it gets converted to binary format and then it is saved. And MongoDB does this to make querying data faster because binary data can be fetched faster than simple text data. Alright, so from the next lecture, let's start creating collections, documents, and querying, updating, and deleting documents in a collection. This is all from this lecture. If you have any questions from this lecture, then feel free to ask it. Thank you for listening and have a great day.